Okay, where are we? Whew! I'm still worn out from that deduction. Jesus Christ, that was a thing. Alright, let's do this. Let's finish this. Papa? You mean yours? What do you mean by the handwriting? Iris-chan? Is it hard for her to talk about it for some reason? Well, I mean, you know. Pardon me for interrupting your conversation, folks, but... What is it, Home-san? This unconscious gentleman seems to have been forgotten. Father! Now, why don't we allow him to rest while he has the chance? Mr. Naruhodō! Yes? Would you mind lending him your bed? We can let this gentleman sleep there. I'll help you carry him. As will I. I could handle it by myself. You lot just enjoy your tea. I hate for the herb tea Iris worked so hard on to go cold. Professor Migatoba is leaving, being dragged away. Home-san. I wonder, did he leave on purpose so it would be easier for Iris-chan to talk to us? I think we ought to have our conversation while he's gone. Our conversation with Iris-sama. Iris's papa. Iris-chan, would you mind telling us about your papa? I told you before, right? That my papa was Holmesy's partner, I mean. He left the records of the cases they solved together in that metal box, correct? Yeah, Holmesy told me that. He said that he was far away and that's why I couldn't see him. Far away, huh? So I secretly opened the box and read over the case files inside. I imagine a lot of different things about my papa. That makes sense. You're a normal girl after all. Excuse me, she's a prodigy. The record said he was a medical doctor, so I studied hard and became one too. That makes sense. I'm afraid that goes above and beyond normal. But, see, there was one thing I still didn't know. And that was my papa's name. His name? The only thing missing from the records from my papa left me was his own name. It wasn't in them anywhere. But... wait, so then... Are you saying you figured it out? After seeing this autopsy report? Yep. Based on the handwriting this report was written in, huh? The autopsy report. When I saw the handwriting on the autopsy report, I was so surprised. I knew I'd seen it somewhere before. You mean the handwriting in the records your father left you? That's right. I had to compare it side by side with my papa's records. So I tried asking the doctor, but she said no one was allowed to borrow them. Not only that, but... There was an extra word. It literally said, but that this was, so, yeah, okay. Not only that, but that was the first and last time she could ever show us the record. So, you snuck off with it? When I compared to the records Papa left, I knew. The handwriting on the autopsy report and the handwriting on Papa's records were the same. The autopsy report is signed by the coroner who performed the procedure. And that was Dr. John H. Watson, right? That's when I finally found out. My papa's name. I see. From that day forward, I became Iris Watson. And I thought up a good idea. It just... Okay, let me read that sentence. Not only that, but that this was the first and last time she could ever show us the record. That's the whole sentence. Oh, I see what you were trying to do. Okay. Not only that, but that this. Okay, I have to have extra... I had to have put an extra emphasis on this. English! So it was more like, not only that, but that this was the first and last time she could ever show us the record. I think, okay, that's how you wanted me to convey that, I think. Is that how you wanted me to convey that? Because I read it entirely something else. In a different tone. You see how, like, acting can cause literally... Okay. I'm assuming that's how you wanted me to have read that sentence. Okay, cool. Where did I just lost my... Now I lost where I am. Okay, the story's about the cases Holmesy and my papa, Dr. Watson, worked on together. I decided I would start writing the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It is very hard. I had no idea those stories were so significant. No, it's not your fault. I'm sure that to Iris-chan, this autopsy report was such an important clue that she was willing to steal it in order to obtain it. There's just a lot of ways to convey a line, you know? And what I was thinking of something else entirely. So, my line wasn't wrong either, yours wasn't wrong either, so like... There's just a lot of ways to convey it. I'm sorry, Iris. It's my fault you had to do such a thing. Holmesy. I promise that I keep the truth about your papa. A secret, until the time was right to tell you about him. Yeah, I know. I was a bad girl. I'll go return the autopsy report to Dr. Gillenay and apologize. Yeah, I'll go with you. In that case, we'll be borrowing this for just a little while. Clint's autopsy report. The autopsy report of the final victim in the professor's murders. It was filled out by Dr. John H. Watson. Well, since we have it, let's look at it. Okay. The autopsy report. The surgeon was John H. Watson. The victim is Clint Van Zeeks at age 33. He was male and English. Oh, the estimated death time was May 31st between 9 a.m. and 12 midnight. That's a long gap. Wow, okay. Investigative observation. Cause of death is a single pierce to the heart with a sword. Likely some sort of duel took place, as there are several shallow injuries on the body. Remarks. A fresh scarlet ink stain was found on the right pinky and ring finger, but there were no documents found on his desk. Wow, John H. Watson has a nice signature. Autopsy observations. An extremely important foreign object was discovered.
in the victim's stomach during the autopsy. This is the clue that Detective Gregson, who insisted on having the autopsy performed, was talking about. Additionally, there was not a single other wound anywhere inside the body. We can conclude that there's nothing out of the ordinary. Okay. Sure. If you say so.
I'm gonna go tend to my herbs for a bit, okay? I'll see you later.
Iris-chan. She must be lonely. Even though she's got home-san.
Ah!
Uh-oh.
What on earth? What is the meaning of this, Home-sama?
Home-san? Oh dear. I guess you must have noticed.
What? Then... No, it can't be.
What is it, Susato-san? You look really startled.
This is the autopsy report that was filled out 10 years ago. However, the handwriting on this record isn't Dr. Watson's.
Huh? How do you know?
Trust me, I know. After all, this handwriting belongs to my dad, Mikatoba Yujin.
What? Professor Mikatoba? Yeah, that's right. Yes, you're exactly right, folks. No, wait! I have no idea what this is supposed to mean. What the heck is the meaning of this, Home-san? Even as I said that, inside my head, a fearsome possibility had already formed. Home-san, could you tell us more about this? The handwriting on the record. So, the handwriting on this record belongs to Professor Mikatoba. But, shouldn't that be impossible? It's not, though. Think about it calmly.
Yes, actually. This could be considered, in a sense, very obvious.
Obvious?
10 years ago, my father returned to Japan from the Great
British Empire. What? Oh my god. I'm losing it now. What had Dr. Mikatoba been doing at that time? And where? He'd been an assistant in Dr. Watson's lab, studying forensic pathology. Assistants help a head coroner during an autopsy and record their opinions. They compile it into a document, known as an autopsy report. Finally, the coroner checks the contents and signs off on it, and then it's finished.
In other words, the only thing here that Dr. Watson wrote was the signature at the bottom.
I see. So that's why Iris-chan got the wrong idea. She looked at the handwriting on the record and assumed that Dr. John H. Watson had written it all.
It's completely understandable.
This is kind of weird. Watson signed the finished report. It was filled out by Professor Mikatoba. The famous detective's partner. Come to think of it, we don't know anything about Home-san except for what's written in the stories.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, written by Iris-sama.
Which means we don't know which events written in those stories are true and which were made up. Quite quizzling, isn't it, folks? You had a partner. Was that true? Oh, questioning the very basics, are we?
Did you?
Yes, I believe Iris wrote it at some point, but there was one person I considered my best friend. And that's him.
And that partner recorded your activities and preserved them in that metal box. Is that true?
Yes, there's no mistake there, Miss Susato. So then, where is that partner now? He's up in the attic! I don't get to see him much these days. After all, he's in a country far away, you see? The handwriting in this autopsy report and the records of your cases are the same. And if the handwriting in this autopsy report belongs to your partner, then there's only one conclusion I can draw. Let's hear it then. Your partner's name is Mikotoba Yujin, which means he's Susato-san's father. Mr. Naruhodō. Yes? It seems that you finally understand. A little thing we like to call logic. So then, I was right. Allow me to introduce you folks to my best friend and partner, Mikotoba. We made it! You know what's even better now that you know? Now that you know, look at his profile. Look at his appearance. Who does he remind you of? Like it was staring right at you in the face the moment he put on the suit and everything. Also, this track. Professor Mikotoba. Holmes and Mikotoba. The biggest twist in this game.
So, that means my father is the real Dr. Watson?
Oh, no. I'm me, Mikotoba. Your dad.
Oh!
Susato-san is so shocked. She seems a little confused. Look at them next to each other! In any case, I never would have dreamed that my friend from back then would end up becoming a world-famous great detective. There's no greater mystery than that. Our meeting was unforgettable. Wait. When was it again? It was 16 years ago, Holmes. Right, that's it. I was here studying abroad with Jigoku and Nosogi. I was searching for lodgings I could commute to the hospital from. But the rent can be rather pricey in that area. Indeed. So I found myself in need of a roommate I could split the rent cost with. That's when I was introduced to this man. I was still a novice at the time. I fooled around the hospital research lab doing half-hearted research. After that, the two of us ended up pursuing numerous cases together. Looking back on it now, it was only a mere 6 years. During the final year, that incident happened. You two already know about that. The professor murders. After the trial was over, Jigoku and I had to return to Japan. Well, that makes sense. Well, that's the story. All our memories from back then are inside that metal box. My god. Professor Mikotoba really was Holmes-san's partner.
Father.
What is it, Susato? That's quite a fearsome expression.
I'm proud of you for being the great partner who supported the great detective. However, there's one other thing. One other mystery I must ask you about.
What might that be?
Naturally. I'm referring to Iris-sama's father.
Good point. I had a feeling you might ask that. Yeah, it was coming. Iris's papa.
Iris-sama stated the following. She said the one who wrote the records of the great detective in the metal box was her father. Isn't that right, Home-sama?
Precisely. That's what I told Iris.
If the one who wrote those records was you, father, then that means that Iris-sama's father is you.
Miss Susato. It seems you have a strong understanding, just as I knew you did, of that little thing we'd like to call logic. Okay.
16 years ago, my mom died giving birth to me, and you left me with grandmother and went to study abroad in the Great British Empire. I have no issue with that. However, as for the business with Iris-sama...
There it is. Susato-san's frigid stare. No, it wasn't like that. There's more to this than you realize. No, you're completely, totally mistaken.
In that case, you will answer my question.
Oh! There it is. The burning stare that follows the frigid one. Like I said, you have the wrong idea. Holmes, I beg you, say something. That's enough, folks! Holmes-san, when the heck did he... I hate to interrupt you in the middle of your enjoyable conversation, but... Mikatoba and I need to be heading out.
The sun is just about to finish setting. Where on earth are you off to?
I should think it would be obvious. I'm going to solve a case with my friend here. Yes, just like the old days. Come, get your coat, Mikatoba. Ah! 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 That track! That track! I'm sorry! I got excited! You know how long I've been wanting to hear this in this game? I love this track! But Holmes, I owe Susato a proper explanation. There'll be time for that later. The carriage is already waiting. You never change, do you, Holmes? Today, for the first time in 10 years, I visit to our home and I'm suddenly filled with nostalgia. I visit to your home. I visit to our home? Wait, today for the first time in 10 years, I visit to our home and am suddenly filled with nostalgia. What? I paid a visit to our home? Does that sound right? Today, for the first time in 10 years, I paid a visit to our home and am suddenly filled with It's okay, I'm working on it. Today, I paid... Let me see if this works. Oh, I visit our home. Okay. Cool. Alright, today, for the first time in 10 years, I visit our home and suddenly filled with nostalgia. For some reason, my memories grow fuzzy around the time when I tried to open that metal box. No sooner have I regained consciousness than 10 minutes later, this happens.
Father, please, go ahead and go with Home-sama.
Hmm?
I'm sure there must have been extraneous circumstances at play. I trust you, Father.
Susato.
Being able to see off the great detective and his partner. I'm so lucky. Oh!
I understand. We'll talk about this later. It seems that this does it for your investigation for today. I wish you good luck tomorrow. I'll be praying for your good luck and your decision, Naruhodō-kun. My decision? About returning to Japan, huh? Far too many things happened today. But we would later learn that in the midst of that confusion, lurked a clue that we would need in order to learn the truth behind everything. And maybe it was necessary. In order for me to strengthen my resolve. Kakugo! Ah! We finished the case! Oh my god! Oh my god! The resolve of Naruhodō Ryūnosuke! Oh my god, we made it to case 5!